Hey there, survivors. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's episode. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It really helps me keep these stories coming. And while you're here, let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Now let's get started. My name is Arjun Mehta, and right now, it's just past 8:30 in the morning. The door of my small electronics repair shop on King Street swings open for the second time today, and a young woman steps inside. She smiles apologetically, holding a cracked smartphone in her hands. I nod back, already reaching for the intake form behind the counter. "Dropped it at the gym," she says, her voice cheerful despite the inconvenience. "Can you have it done today?" "No problem," I reply, filling in the form. "Come back around 4. She thanks me and steps out into the bright Jacksonville sunshine. Cars roll steadily down King Street, traffic light unusual for a weekday morning. Across the street, Mark from the liquor store unloads boxes from the back of a delivery truck. He gives me a quick wave. Everything feels routine. I moved here from Kochi, India, almost 14 years ago. Riverside became home faster than I expected, quiet enough for me to feel settled, busy enough to keep my business steady. Today, like any other weekday, is predictable. Repair requests trickle in. Battery issues, cracked screens, the occasional laptop with a faulty power supply. The television mounted above my workstation is tuned quietly to local news, mostly for background noise. Around noon, the signal flickers briefly, cutting off the news anchor mid-sentence. I glance up from a half-dismantled laptop motherboard. Strange. The reception here rarely gives trouble. Within a few seconds it's back, though the news anchor looks momentarily flustered. When she continues, her tone feels oddly forced. "A reminder from local health officials. If you feel ill today, please stay home and avoid crowded areas as a precaution," she says, smiling tightly into the camera. She quickly moves on to weather updates. Hot, clear, typical for July. But something about the message sticks in my mind. I check my phone. A text notification appears from Sanjay, a friend who works downtown. "You hear anything weird about Riverside Memorial?" "No," I reply. "Why?" "Some friends were told to reschedule their appointments," he texts back. No explanation. I glance out the shop window, half expecting to see signs of trouble. Instead, it's normal. Families walking by, cars stopping at traffic lights, a couple of delivery bikes weaving through the lunch crowd. Still, the uneasy feeling doesn't quite fade. Hospital cancellations without explanation are unusual. By mid-afternoon, the rhythm of the day changes subtly. Outside my window, I notice fewer pedestrians. The cafe next door, normally busy at this hour, is strangely quiet. A few cars pass by, slower than usual, as if their drivers are distracted. I look back to the television, volume slightly louder now. Reports from other cities flash briefly across the screen. Miami, Atlanta, Tampa, all vague mentions of hospitals being overwhelmed, but the news provides no details. Another text from Sanjay buzzes through. "Office closing early today. Boss said something about illness spreading. Weird vibes." It's close to 4 when the young woman returns for her repaired phone. She's visibly anxious now, glancing repeatedly at the street behind her. "Everything okay?" I ask, handing her the phone. "Yeah, just everyone seems kind of on edge," she replies quietly. "People are leaving work early. My friend said they heard something was happening downtown." She leaves quickly, heading to her car parked along the curb. I step outside after her, looking around. The street is noticeably emptier now. Mark stands by his storefront, arms crossed, watching the road with a troubled expression. "You heard anything, Mark?" I call out. He shakes his head slowly. "Not sure. Customers mentioned some trouble at Memorial Hospital earlier. Ambulances moving all day. You?" "Just rumors," I answer, trying to downplay my growing unease. He nods but doesn't look convinced. I return to my counter, checking my internet connection. It loads slower than usual, stuttering on a few news sites. Social media pages are crowded with speculation but short on facts. People are asking questions, anxious, uncertain, but no clear answers emerge. At around 7 in the evening, my television suddenly emits a loud tone, An emergency broadcast breaking into the evening news. Bold text crawls across the screen, slow and deliberate. Emergency alert. City of Jacksonville issues precautionary measures. Residents advised to remain indoors tonight. Avoid contact with any person showing unusual or aggressive behavior. Updates to follow. My pulse quickens slightly as I reread the words, my stomach tightening. I look out the shop window again. Streetlights flicker on, illuminating an unusually deserted King Street. Across the way, Mark is locking his storefront, pulling down the metal shutters, something he rarely does. I quickly decide to follow suit. I lock the front door, shut off the main lights, and pull down the shutters with a loud metallic clatter. Upstairs, in my apartment, I switch on the TV again. Similar alerts flash repeatedly, but no new information comes through. Just vague warnings, a sense of caution, urgency, but no clarity. I dial Sanjay's number. It rings twice, then disconnects abruptly. Trying again gives the same result. Signal disruptions maybe. Internet still works, sluggish but reliable. A quick check on local forums reveals more confusion than clarity. Posts about ambulances racing downtown, police vehicles blocking certain streets, but nothing official. Night settles quietly, tension hanging in the still air outside my window. From upstairs, I look toward Riverside Memorial Hospital, visible in the distance. Bright emergency lights flicker along its upper floors. Helicopters circle far away above downtown, blinking lights reflecting off the river's surface. For a moment, I think about heading outside to ask neighbors what they've heard, but the silence outside discourages me. It feels safer indoors, behind locked doors. I sit quietly, alone in my living room, the television looping its warnings silently. The unease of the day settles deeper, each vague report adding weight to my growing apprehension. Something is happening in Jacksonville, something none of us yet fully understands, and the uncertain calm tonight feels fragile. Day 2. I wake just after sunrise, still sitting half upright on my couch. The television hums quietly, volume low, still cycling the same warnings from last night. Nothing new, no details, just vague caution. Outside my apartment window, King Street is quiet but not abandoned. Cars pass occasionally, fewer than usual, their pace slower, cautious. I get up, trying my phone again. The connection is spotty, but after a few tries, a few text messages slip through from Sanjay. He's at home, safe for now, but he says downtown is essentially locked down. Business is closed, streets blocked by police barricades. Authorities still aren't explaining exactly why, beyond precautionary measures. Downstairs, in the shop, the electricity is still on, the air conditioning gently humming, pushing back the oppressive Florida heat. Water pressure in the sink is steady. I wash my face, briefly considering whether or not to open today. The street outside looks subdued, but not entirely deserted. Perhaps normalcy can hold for another day. Around 9:30, as I'm about to unlock the shutters, I see movement through the gaps. Mark from the liquor store across the street is outside, looking anxious, pacing the sidewalk while on his phone. He sees me peeking out and signals urgently for me to stay inside. I pause, puzzled. The TV interrupts with another loud tone. It's a new message, more direct. Jacksonville City notice. Remain indoors. Public safety threat identified in downtown and surrounding areas. Avoid all unnecessary travel. Details to follow. I step away from the door, suddenly cautious. My phone rings. Sanjay calling. This time, the signal holds. Arjun, you watching the news? His voice is strained, tense. Yeah, vague as always. You hearing something specific? A friend downtown saw people acting strange, like they're confused, aggressive even. Something happened near Hemming Park. Police moved fast. Ambulances everywhere. I listen carefully, still unsure what to make of it. Any idea what's causing this? They're not saying, but some people online say it's some kind of illness, affecting the mind or something. Nobody official confirms anything. It's just guesses. But whatever it is, they're taking it seriously. We end the call, and I turn back toward the window. Mark is gone, his shop shuttered, closed tightly. I glance down King Street again. Farther away, toward Riverside Park, I notice a small group gathered, neighbors talking, gesturing nervously. No one seems to have answers, just speculation. The next hours crawl by. I try the internet again, slow but usable. Social media is flooded with confusion, anxiety. Videos from downtown surface occasionally, shaky, blurred footage showing people wandering aimlessly, stumbling, unresponsive to questions. No violence yet, but clearly something wrong. Authorities quickly remove these videos, leaving only uncertainty behind. Mid-afternoon, the phone repair customer from yesterday calls, voice shaky. "Arjun, my phone screen went out again. I'm near your store. Can you fix it quick?" I hesitate but relent. "Just knock. I'll let you in fast." She arrives minutes later, knocking urgently. As I open the door slightly, she slips inside quickly, looking over her shoulder nervously. "Streets are weird right now," she says quietly. "Saw people down the block just standing, staring into nothing. I didn't like it." I nod silently, repairing her phone quickly, hands steady despite the growing unease. As I hand it back, she pauses, hesitant. "You might want to close early today," she says softly. "Just a feeling." She leaves quickly, walking swiftly toward her car. I watch until she drives away, locking the shop's door again immediately afterward. The day feels different now, fragile, uncertain. By evening, the quiet outside is unsettling. Cars have mostly stopped. Occasionally, distant sirens wail briefly, fading quickly into silence. I lock up early, pulling the shutters down with a louder-than-normal clang. Upstairs, I watch television reports become more repetitive. Authorities issuing constant assurances without real explanation. Around 8, my phone buzzes again. Sanjay, voice now noticeably fearful. "They announced something serious, Arjun," he says. "The city mayor, on TV just now, told everyone clearly, stay inside, lock all doors and windows. Do not approach anyone acting strange. They're calling it a severe infectious illness, rapidly spreading." Infectious. The word chills me slightly but still feels unreal. "Yes," Sanjay says quietly. He said infected people become confused, unpredictable, even dangerous. They didn't say much more, but downtown's sealed completely. National Guard is setting checkpoints at all major roads. I stand silently by the window, staring down at the darkening street. Streetlights click on automatically, casting a strange, harsh glow over empty sidewalks. The cafe next door remains dark. Mark's store across the street, shuttered and silent. No pedestrians remain. An unfamiliar noise draws my attention down the street. 2 figures slowly walking down King Street. Their movements sluggish, unsteady. At first, they seem merely tired or ill, but the longer I watch, the more uneasy I become. Neither speaks or acknowledges the other. They just walk, slowly drifting apart, aimless. I step quietly back from the window, turning off the lights in the apartment, leaving only the soft glow of the television. The feeling of safety within these walls begins to fade, replaced by a growing awareness of vulnerability. I check the door locks again, unnecessarily thorough, testing each bolt twice. The television repeats its message endlessly, calm but urgent. No further clarity, just warnings, instructions, assurances that everything possible is being done. I sit quietly in the darkened room, the vague shape of Riverside Memorial Hospital visible through my window. Emergency lights flash across its facade, red and blue pulses reflecting faintly on distant windows. The city is preparing for something worse. The question now is what, and when? Day 3. I wake earlier than usual. It's barely 7, and the sky outside my apartment window is still tinged grey with morning. The television remains on from last night, muted now, endlessly scrolling the same vague warnings. I look at my small kitchenette, barely stocked with enough for a couple of days. My stomach twists gently with a thought. If whatever this is keeps spreading, supplies will become scarce. I decide quickly. The Publix grocery store isn't far, just a few blocks down King Street. I'll go there early, before opening the shop, while it's still quiet. A short trip, nothing risky. I step outside cautiously. The street is empty at this hour, but still seems oddly tense. A few parked cars, no pedestrians. The warm morning feels somehow cooler without people bustling around, voices carrying through the usual routine. Publix is open, lights on, automatic doors sliding apart smoothly. Inside, soft music plays faintly overhead, strangely calm. Aisles mostly empty of customers. Only a single cashier visible at the front register, leaning slightly forward, staring blankly at nothing. I nod politely as I grab a shopping cart, but he barely acknowledges me. Not unfriendly exactly, just distant, disconnected. I push quickly through the aisles, grabbing basics first. Bottled water, canned goods, rice, batteries, and several packets of instant noodles. Then, hesitation fades as caution overrides politeness. I start stocking up, grabbing far more than usual, justifying it silently. Who knows how long supplies will hold? I pass the pharmacy aisle, tossing in a few extra boxes of bandages and antiseptic wipes. Something about the emptiness in the store feels wrong, unsettling me enough to hurry. After filling my cart, I return to the front. The cashier is gone, register unattended. I wait a moment, glancing around, unsure. Minutes pass. The store remains silent. Just as I'm considering leaving cash on the counter and walking out, the cashier returns abruptly, eyes unfocused, movements hurried and jerky. He mutters a quick apology but doesn't make eye contact, rapidly scanning my items, bagging them without care. As he scans the final items, the automatic doors slide open suddenly. A man bursts inside, staggering, holding a bloodied hand tightly to his ear. Something dark drips steadily down the side of his neck. "Where's the gauze?" he demands loudly, voice shaking. "I need gauze and alcohol." The cashier says nothing, barely glancing up, and simply points toward the pharmacy aisle. The injured man stumbles past me, breathing rapidly, clearly panicked. I quickly push cash toward the cashier, more than necessary, not bothering to wait for change. I grab my bags hastily, turning to leave just as the man shouts from the pharmacy aisle. Something jumped out near my porch, tried to rip my ear clean off, like some psycho hiding behind the bushes. His words chill me, urging me faster toward the exit. As I hurry outside, something catches my eye. Just to the side of the sidewalk, barely visible from the doorway, someone lies on the pavement, half hidden beside a parked car. A man, twitching oddly, limbs jerking in short, sharp spasms. His head snaps repeatedly toward the ground, as if struggling to control movements he no longer commands. I freeze momentarily, breath caught in my throat. The scene is unnatural, deeply wrong. His eyes, empty, unfocused, stare blankly downward. Something primal inside urges me away, instinct driving my feet back toward my shop. I walk swiftly, eyes fixed ahead, grip tight on the heavy bags of groceries. Every step echoes loudly in my mind, the quiet street amplifying each footfall. Reaching my shop, I hastily unlock the door, rushing inside, locking it securely behind me, my pulse finally easing as the deadbolt clicks solidly into place. Upstairs, I unload groceries onto my kitchenette counter, sorting hurriedly, barely registering what I've bought. My thoughts remain stuck on the injured man at Publix, the cashier's vacant stare, and the twitching man on the sidewalk. Images burned into my memory, unsettling, unshakable. I glance out the window toward the empty street. Daylight brightens steadily now, casting clear morning light across King Street. Yet it no longer feels safe or familiar. I realize, with quiet certainty, that opening the store today would be foolish. Whatever is unfolding, it's worse than authorities have admitted, more immediate, closer to home. I check my phone again, the internet slow but still working intermittently. Sanjay sent a message a few minutes earlier, simple but unsettling. "Stay indoors today, something spreading faster. Don't go out." I reply briefly, reassuring him I'm home. Doors locked. Then I turn back toward my apartment window, looking out again, watching carefully. The streets remain silent, empty, but somehow alive with quiet menace. Whatever happens next, it will happen quickly. I can feel it, clear as daylight. For now, I remain upstairs, doors secured, supplies stacked neatly on my counter, waiting quietly, uncertain and wary, as the day outside slowly unfolds into something I cannot yet fully grasp. Day 4. The morning starts quietly again, but nothing feels normal anymore. Outside my apartment window, sunlight touches empty sidewalks, casting pale gold along deserted King Street. I'm standing by the window, sipping a lukewarm cup of coffee, staring out at a city that feels increasingly foreign to me. My phone vibrates once, briefly connecting to the network. A new message from Sanjay pops onto the screen, time-stamped hours earlier. Signal dropping everywhere now, city grid struggling. Stay safe. I type a reply quickly, but when I hit send, the message hangs indefinitely, refusing to leave my phone. The signal flickers again and drops completely. My Wi-Fi is still intermittent but functional, barely fast enough to load brief news updates, each one more vague and unsettling than the last. Reports of strange, aggressive behavior spreading rapidly across Jacksonville, hospitals overwhelmed, authorities pleading for calm. Around 10, the electricity flickers for the first time, the lights dimming briefly before stabilizing again. My heart sinks. If the grid starts failing, everything gets harder. I hurriedly fill several empty water bottles and the bathtub, just in case, as memories of storm preparations from past hurricanes guide me now. Within minutes, the sounds of sirens puncture the uneasy silence outside. A police car speeds past, blue and red lights flashing but sirens oddly muted, only a soft whooping sound as it disappears toward downtown. Minutes later, another follows, then another, a steady trickle becoming an unsettling flow. I step downstairs into my shop, checking the locks again instinctively. Peering cautiously through the shutter slats, I watch as several more police cars race down King Street, heading toward Riverside Memorial Hospital, urgency clear in their speed. The distant wail of fire trucks joins in, growing louder, echoing off empty buildings, sounding desperate even from afar. I return upstairs, anxiety tightening with every passing minute. The television struggles now, signal weak, occasionally breaking into static, the emergency broadcast repeating endlessly. City of Jacksonville, stay indoors, remain calm, public safety threat active, await further instructions. No new details, no clarity, just repeated vague warnings, each repetition deepening my unease. I pace quietly around my small apartment, unsettled by the deepening silence between bursts of sirens, which now seem to echo from all directions. At noon, the power falters again, lights flickering off for several tense seconds before coming back weaker, unsteady. The air conditioning struggles noticeably, the apartment growing steadily warmer. Outside, I see neighbors from down the street cautiously peeking from doorways, hesitant, unsure what to do. No one ventures far from home. I watch a young couple from the building across, carefully loading their car with belongings, clearly deciding to leave before things worsen. Their hurried movements suggest a quiet panic. Just as they start the engine, another police cruiser roars past, startling them into motion. They speed away quickly, not looking back. The silence deepens afterward, broken only occasionally by distant sirens or the low hum of helicopters circling somewhere beyond Riverside. From my vantage point, I see columns of smoke rising in the distance, several locations, downtown, possibly further east. Fire trucks howl urgently, their cries now constant, a backdrop of unseen chaos. My phone flickers briefly to life again. Sanjay's message finally sends. Another arrives almost immediately. Downtown is chaos. Fires started somewhere near Main Street. Police everywhere. Stay hidden. Then the signal vanishes entirely, screen showing nothing but an empty icon, connection lost completely. I place the phone down slowly, realizing how cut off I now am from the rest of the city, from the outside world. By mid-afternoon, power fluctuations grow more frequent, lights dimming sharply, appliances clicking off and on. Internet stops entirely, no longer loading pages. The TV finally gives up, dissolving into static, then silence, screen black. I move quietly through my apartment, setting candles and flashlights around, prepared now for an inevitable darkness. From my window, I notice people hurrying down King Street. Small groups, tense, watchful, clutching hastily packed bags or suitcases. They're moving quickly, glancing around nervously, driven by instinctive fear rather than clear direction. At 5 o'clock, the power finally goes completely, plunging my apartment into sudden silence, broken only by distant sirens and muted shouts from the street below. I look outside, noticing now the fading sunlight giving way to long shadows, creating pools of darkness along sidewalks and alleyways. Across the street, Mark from the liquor store briefly appears, hurriedly locking a chain around his storefront shutters before quickly disappearing down the alley toward his car. He doesn't glance up, clearly determined to flee while he still can. I remain upstairs, watching carefully, uncertain. The distant fires burn steadily, columns of smoke illuminated orange-red by the fading daylight. The scent of smoke drifts faintly on the evening air, mingling with humidity, thick and oppressive. The day closes slowly, darkness settling like a heavy blanket over Jacksonville. Streets become silhouettes, empty and stark beneath pale moonlight. Sirens quiet slightly, fewer police vehicles passing, replaced by occasional distant, unsettling sounds. Shouts, crashes, the unmistakable noise of breaking glass. I double-check my locks again, sliding furniture quietly in front of the door downstairs, barricading entry points cautiously but firmly. Upstairs, I sit by the window in near darkness, candle flickering softly beside me, watching the empty street below. Sleep feels impossible now, tension keeping my senses alert, each shadow outside seeming to move slightly, the quiet street below feeling filled with unseen threats. As night deepens, a single lone figure shuffles slowly along King Street, movements uneven, halting. Something deeply wrong about their slow, dragging steps. I watch silently as they pause, swaying slightly in the middle of the street, then continue forward aimlessly, vanishing into deeper shadows. I extinguish the candle carefully, moving away from the window, settling into a corner where I feel less exposed. Jacksonville is changing rapidly now, faster than I can understand, slipping towards something unknown, dangerous. Tonight the city feels utterly foreign to me, a place I no longer recognize, barely comprehend. All I can do now is wait, quiet and unseen, while the world outside slowly falls apart. Day 5. The sun rises unnoticed behind low smoke-gray clouds. I don't sleep much, maybe 2 hours, 3 at most. I'm still sitting in the back of my apartment, half lit by the dim morning light seeping through the windows. The power hasn't returned. The air inside is thick, heavy with last night's humidity. The silence is worse now. No traffic, no birds, no dogs barking. Just a stillness that feels stretched too tight. Somewhere far off toward downtown, a faint sound cuts through the quiet. Dull thuds, not rhythmic, more like bursts. Not quite explosions, but not fireworks either. That distant popping repeats now and then, irregular. I can't tell if it's something falling or something being used. Once in a while, there's a deeper boom, maybe something large collapsing, maybe just my mind filling in blanks. By 8 a.m., I'm downstairs, peeking through the shutter slats again. King Street is almost empty. A few scattered paper cups and trash bags roll across the pavement, carried by a light breeze. The smell of smoke lingers, carried from somewhere beyond sight. I don't see anyone, but I hear more. At first, it's just that low background hum coming from downtown. Sirens overlapping in strange tones, like their timing's off. Then, a helicopter passes low and fast overhead, fast enough to rattle the windows. It doesn't circle like yesterday. It's heading straight east toward the ocean. Shortly after, I hear something closer. Footsteps. Slow, shuffling. I step back from the shutter and stay quiet. They pass the storefront. I don't see them, but I hear them. Just one person by the sound of it. Shoes dragging over the sidewalk. Not hurrying, not talking. Just dragging. 15 minutes pass. I check again. Nothing out there. I climb back upstairs, quickly eat a can of beans cold from the tin. It's tasteless, but I'm not hungry for flavor, just trying to keep my head clear. Water still runs. I ration it carefully. I wash my face and pour 2 more bottles for backup. The batteries in my flashlight are still good. One backup pack is charging my old burner phone off solar. No signal yet, Not even emergency alerts anymore. Just silence. It's nearly noon when I hear the first bang on the storefront shutter. Loud, sudden. Then again. Bang, bang. Metal on metal. I slide quietly to the bottom of the staircase and peer through the tiny corner between the shutter and the wall. A man stands outside. Ragged, shirtless under an old green military jacket, dirt and soot smeared across his face. He looks like someone who's been sleeping rough for days. He's yelling, but I can't understand the words at first. His voice is hoarse, cracked. His fists slam against the metal. I press closer to the edge of the window. "Let me in! I know you're in there!" He slams his fists again. Harder. "I need water. I saw you move. Don't pretend." His eyes are wild, lips dry, crusted with something dark. He reaches into his coat and pulls out something. A piece of metal, maybe a pipe, maybe the handle of an old car jack. He bangs it against the shutter, scraping it violently. "I saw them, back there, coming out of the trucks, ripping people. You don't get it, man." He stops shouting and breathes heavy against the metal shutter. Then he presses his face right against the seam. I step back instantly, careful not to make a sound. "Please," he mutters now, lower. "Please, they're not people. They're not right. Something's wrong with their heads." Then his voice breaks entirely into sobs. He slides down slowly against the shutter, resting on the sidewalk. For a few seconds, it's quiet again. Then I hear him whispering something, over and over. "She tried to bite me. She was already gone." His voice disappears into wet, choking sounds, and then silence again. I wait nearly 15 minutes before peeking. He's gone. Just gone. No sound, no footfalls, like he melted into the pavement. I don't move for another half hour. Just listen. Sirens in the far distance. Distant popping again, too far to identify clearly. My hands stay tight around the handle of the crowbar I brought up from the repair shop. Just in case. Late afternoon brings a new sound. Voices shouting 2 blocks away, maybe more. I can't see anything from my window, but I do see shadows passing the mouth of the alley, running. One figure limping, a backpack bouncing. Then nothing. I don't go down again today. I don't want to know what's outside right now. Instead, I gather more things upstairs. Candles, first aid, the few kitchen knives I own. I shut every curtain and leave only the back window cracked for ventilation. I eat slowly, canned corn this time, watching the last light of the day fade from behind my shutters. Tonight feels worse than yesterday. The silence is changing. The city's still there, but less of it answers now. Less of it behaves the way it should. And those strange noises from downtown, they haven't stopped. They've only gotten closer. Day 6. It's sometime after 5 in the morning when I stir from the couch, though I don't remember actually sleeping. The candle I left burning is reduced to a cold stump, wax puddled on the countertop. The power still hasn't returned. No hum of the fridge, no digital clock ticking. The air is heavy, not just from humidity, but from that slow-building pressure that now hangs over the city. I rise slowly and walk to the window, peeking carefully between the edge of the curtain. King Street lies in an uneasy half-light, barely touched by the weak pre-dawn. No cars, no people. Only a torn banner flapping lazily from a street lamp. Something from a closed cafe still trying to advertise brunch specials. The color is all wrong now, grimy, drained. Somewhere in the distance, toward the river, comes another hollow blast. Not a boom like a gas explosion, more like the crack of concrete under strain. Maybe a building coming down. It's far enough not to shake anything in here, but it cuts through the stillness like a warning shot. I press my palm against the glass, cold with early dew, and listen for movement. A few blocks away, faint voices rise. Not panicked, but angry. It doesn't sound like organized police commands or emergency workers. It sounds like 2 men shouting, overlapping, growing louder, then suddenly silent. No explanation, no follow-up. I spend most of the morning upstairs, inventorying everything I have. Cans stacked in corners, water jugs lined near the door. My tools are still where they were. Screwdrivers, soldering kits. and the heavier stuff I brought up from the shop the night before. A crowbar, a worn-out hammer, a flashlight with a half-dead battery. I keep everything within arm's reach. The store stays locked and shuttered. I don't even bother checking downstairs anymore. What's the point? The phones haven't worked since yesterday afternoon. The internet hasn't come back. No radio, no TV. Only the low creak of old floorboards and the occasional gust pushing against the side of the building remind me there's still a world outside these walls. Just after noon, I catch something moving from the corner of my eye. A shape outside, fast and jerky. I freeze and slide closer to the window. A man stumbles into view across the street. He's limping hard, dragging one foot behind him like it's twisted at the knee. His arms hang loose at his sides, fingers twitching, and his clothes are torn, filthy. For a moment I think he's drunk or badly hurt. Then he stops moving entirely. Just stands there, head tilted at an unnatural angle, jaw slack, eyes cloudy. His chest rises and falls, but there's no awareness in his body, just vacancy. After a few seconds, he pivots clumsily and stumbles toward the corner, disappearing behind the bakery that's been closed for 2 days. The moment he's gone, I feel the panic sink deeper into me. Not a burst of fear, but that slow burn realization that what I saw isn't some rare case. It wasn't just illness. Something has changed in people, something deep in the wiring, and it's spreading. I sit back down and try to focus, to steady myself. I boil some water over a small camping stove I dug out of a box under the stairs. The flame hisses quietly, the only sign of life in the entire building. I don't bother with tea, just hot water, and the motion of stirring it gives my hands something to do. The tension in my chest never really leaves, but I learn to move around it, like working with a limp. By late afternoon, the sounds outside begin to change. It's no longer just sirens in the distance, or cars driving too fast on unfamiliar streets. It's banging now. Not far, maybe 2 buildings down, metal on metal, sharp and repetitive. I move slowly to the front window again, careful not to show myself. Across the street, 2 men are trying to open the door of a closed laundromat. One is armed with a length of pipe, the other with a heavy wrench. They don't speak. They just grunt between strikes. Their clothes are soaked through with sweat, their movements too frantic to be controlled. Eventually, the pipe wielder gives up and kicks a garbage bin across the sidewalk in frustration. The other turns, and I see his hands, torn up, bloodied, like he's been using them to smash more than just metal. They disappear into the alley without ever getting inside. I exhale slowly and retreat to the back of the room, keeping low. By evening, the tension in the city is something you can feel in the air, not just see or hear. The air smells of burned plastic and distant smoke. Somewhere, a car alarm keeps chirping endlessly, untouched. Dogs bark in sharp bursts before going quiet. And once or twice, I think I hear screaming. Quick, cut off, not close, but not far enough. As the sun sets, a haze settles across King Street. Streetlights flicker on where the grid still holds, casting dim yellow circles that only seem to make the shadows deeper between them. I sit in silence, lights off, one flashlight in my lap and a knife on the floor by my foot. I listen, always listening. Then it starts again, soft at first, a scraping against the shutter, just enough to make me lean forward. Then a thud, heavy and close. Someone's outside my store. I move slowly to the staircase, grip tightening around the flashlight. Another bang, not a fist this time, something harder, heavier. I crouch at the base of the stairs, just beneath the small slit of glass I used to peek outside. A man stands there, or something that used to be one. He's facing the shutter directly, rocking slowly back and forth. His clothes are soaked in something dark, stained down the sleeves and chest. One of his hands is missing, replaced by a bandaged stump. He isn't calling out or asking for help. He's just pressing forward, again and again, his shoulder thudding rhythmically into the metal. Thump, 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 like it's the only thing he remembers how to do. I stay completely still. After 10 long minutes, he stops. He leans his forehead against the shutter and rests there, unmoving. Eventually, his legs give out, and he slumps to the sidewalk, curled in silence. But he doesn't leave. He just sits there, occasionally twitching, staring at the bottom edge of the storefront. I back away slowly, every step careful, measured, until I'm upstairs again. I drag a chair to the far wall, keeping my back to it as I wait for night to finish falling. I don't sleep, not tonight, not while that thing waits just outside. Day 7. The man is still outside when morning comes. I hear him long before I see him. Soft, rustling movements against the storefront shutter. The occasional dull thud of his shoulder as he leans in and slides down again. I don't go downstairs. Not yet. I wait in the dim grey upstairs room, sitting in the same chair I didn't leave all night. The air is heavier now, unmoving. The power hasn't returned, and the battery in my small radio is long dead. I check the phone again out of habit. Still nothing. No signal, no bars. Just the blank, lonely icon in the corner of the screen. When I finally gather the courage to peek outside through the edge of the curtain, the street is covered in ash. At least, that's what it looks like. Fine dust clinging to parked cars, windowsills, sidewalk edges. I don't know where it's from. Maybe one of the fires to the north made it this far. The buildings downtown haven't looked right in 2 days. At night, they flicker like dying stars. Intermittent lights, short bursts of movement, smoke rising from too many rooftops to count. The thing, outside my shop hasn't moved much. His posture is all wrong. Knees drawn up, face resting against his knees. But the twitching hasn't stopped. Every few minutes he lifts his head and pushes gently against the shutter like he's trying to remember why he came here in the first place. Sometimes he scratches it with his fingers, and the sound crawls up my spine. His face is streaked with dried blood. Whatever was human in him is mostly gone now. I try not to look at him directly anymore. At some point mid-morning, something changes. I don't hear it immediately. It's more of a shift in tone, a new texture in the background noise. Distant yelling, not angry or panicked. Desperate. A woman's voice. She's far away, maybe 3 blocks down, yelling something I can't make out. She repeats it again and again, getting fainter each time. I listen closely, but the wind carries her words away before they reach me. Then, nothing. 10 minutes later, a pickup truck speeds past my storefront. The first moving vehicle I've seen all day. It's dented, bed filled with loose plastic bins and bags. 2 men are in the cab, both with rifles slung over their shoulders, faces hard and forward. They don't stop. They don't even slow down. They vanish around the corner, tires squealing as they go. The man outside my shop doesn't react. He doesn't even turn his head. That's what terrifies me most. By noon, I can't take the silence anymore. I grab one of the heavier screwdrivers from my tool bag and head quietly downstairs. I move slowly, avoiding the boards that creak, and crouch behind the counter, careful not to disturb anything that might alert what's sitting just beyond the shutter. I slide open the rear storage room door to check on the bottled water stash. I'm still okay. Maybe 3 more days worth if I ration, less if I have to stay active. On my way back up, I hear the first sharp crack from somewhere far off, like a firecracker, but louder, deeper. A single gunshot, then another, and another. A pause, then a burst of rapid fire so fast I can't count them. I press myself flat against the stairwell wall, listening, holding my breath. Somewhere out there, people are still fighting for something, but it's not law enforcement anymore. That's clear. Upstairs, I take inventory again. Food is holding out. I haven't touched the instant rice yet. I've been saving that in case I need something to cook on the stove for a longer haul. The canned beans are harder to eat now, but I force myself to finish half a can. I chew slowly, listening to the man below scratching faintly on the shutter, like clockwork. Late afternoon brings something new. The light changes. A thick grey smog begins to creep through the streets, rolling low and slow. It carries a sickly odor, burned rubber mixed with something sweet and rotten. I seal the windows as best I can, shoving towels into cracks and pulling down blackout curtains I never thought I'd use. The scent seeps in anyway. My eyes water. My throat burns faintly. I find an old cloth mask from hurricane season, soak it in water, and tie it around my nose and mouth. It helps a little. Just before nightfall, the scratching outside stops. I go still. I can't hear the man anymore. No breathing, no muttering, not even the sound of shifting clothes. I crawl to the top of the stairs and wait, watching the strip of light near the door. Then, slowly, a shadow passes. Not his. A new one. It moves faster, more upright, pauses, sniffs the air. Then it drags something. A pipe, maybe, along the sidewalk. The noise scrapes against the cement like metal teeth. Then it stops too. Silence returns, but it's heavier now, like the quiet before a lightning strike. I don't move for over an hour. I stay crouched at the stairs, muscles aching, screwdriver clutched tightly. I hear no more footsteps, no voices, just the occasional moan of the wind blowing through a broken window somewhere out of sight. The man, or what used to be a man, outside is no longer sitting there. But I don't feel relief. I feel dread. Day 8. At first light, I notice the new noise before anything else. It's the low, grinding rumble of diesel engines. Slow, steady, mechanical. Not another truckload of looters or people fleeing. This is heavier, more deliberate. I part the curtain a few inches and see the convoy coming down King Street. 3 military-style pickups, flat dark green with mesh grills on the windows and white stencil markings on the doors. Soldiers ride in the backs, weapons visible, helmets dull under the rising sun. No flags, no names, just plain gear and worn faces. They stop every few houses, fanning out. One truck parks diagonally across the intersection to the north, forming a makeshift checkpoint. Another pulls up 2 buildings down from mine. Soldiers move fast, rifles pointed low but ready, one of them already knocking loudly on the front of a former boutique, yelling something I can't make out. A family emerges slowly, man, woman, 2 kids, all holding their hands in the air. They don't argue, they don't cry. They look like they've already been waiting for this. The soldiers bark orders in short, practiced bursts. The man is told to strip to the waist, then the woman. The kids are checked more carefully, hair inspected, mouths opened. Their clothes are searched, shoes removed. It's not violence, it's protocol. Efficient, cold, unhesitant. One soldier takes notes on a laminated form, as another points a flashlight directly into the father's eyes, then shines it quickly over the mother's arms and neck. I don't know what they're looking for. Maybe signs of infection, maybe wounds. The family doesn't resist. They're cleared. Wordlessly, they're ushered into the back of the pickup. The tailgate slams shut. Another soldier tags the front door of their building with a large red C using a spray can. He circles it once with orange and moves on. I stay low, back from the glass, barely breathing. I hear a burst of shouting from the next street over, then the unmistakable sound of a gunshot. One shot, followed quickly by another, then a loud voice yells, "Check the head, again!" The street goes silent for a moment after that. Then, the slow crunch of boots returns. One of the soldiers is making his way toward my shop now. He knocks hard on the metal shutter, 3 firm slams that rattle the frame. I freeze, crouched by the staircase, unsure whether to respond. My mouth is dry. My hands grip the handle of the crowbar lying across my lap. He waits, listens, knocks again. I can't see his face from here, only his boots and part of his leg. His stance is relaxed but trained, like he's done this 100 times before. He speaks, voice sharp but not aggressive. "If there's anyone inside, speak now. You will not be harmed. This sector is about to be cordoned off." I stay silent, not because I want to be brave, but because I don't trust anything anymore. Orders change by the hour. Safety is relative. Yesterday, men with rifles drove by without stopping. Today, they're clearing homes and painting symbols on buildings. I don't know what the Red Sea means. Cleared, contained, contagious. Before I can decide, the soldier's radio crackles loudly. A voice on the other end shouts over static. "Shots fired on Margaret and Copeland. Hold the line. Do not break formation." The soldier outside my shutter steps away abruptly. His boots crunch on gravel as he jogs back toward his unit. More shouting follows. Then, the trucks rev up again. One backs into the center of the road while another swings around to face south. I hear the slamming of doors, boots climbing metal steps, and then the convoy begins to move. Slow at first, then building speed as they disappear around the corner. I exhale for the first time in what feels like minutes. 10 minutes later, the knock comes again. Softer this time, less forceful, a different voice. Older, steadier. "If there's anyone in here," he says through the shutter, "you need to know. This block's going to be sealed. We're not coming back. If you're not out when we finish the line, you're on your own. No evac, no reroute, no medivac." I hesitate, move to the window. For a second, I actually consider it. But then, from the southern side of the street, more gunshots ring out. Closer now. Short bursts controlled, followed by a voice shouting, "Move, move," and another responding, "He's down, he's not turning. Yet." I step back again, slowly, pulling the curtain closed. I don't want to be anywhere near that. Whatever protocol they're following, whatever checklist they're using, none of it sounds like rescue anymore. It sounds like damage control. Across the street, I see more soldiers painting symbols on the walls of buildings. Big letters in red and orange, some with slashes, others with circles. I recognize the house where the man used to sit out on his porch every morning with a coffee and his little dog. The windows are boarded now. No one came out when the soldiers knocked. They left a black X on the door and moved on. I watch until the last of them disappears behind the curve near Stockton. The rumble of their engines fades slowly into the distance. Then, quiet again. The neighborhood feels even more abandoned now, and what remains feels marked, labeled, categorized. A city being sorted piece by piece, by risk, by exposure, by value. I wonder what mark they would have painted on my door if I'd opened it, but I didn't. And now, whatever protection they offered is gone with them, and I am alone again, completely. Day 9. The soldiers are gone. Their noise, their order barking, the scrape of boots on pavement, the metallic slam of truck doors. All of it vanished like a tide pulling out fast. What they left behind is worse. The silence that returns to King Street feels unnatural now, like something wounded but still breathing just beneath the surface. The red and orange symbols they sprayed on buildings are still fresh, harsh against aging brick and cracked stucco. From my second-floor window, I count at least a dozen buildings marked with red circles and slashes. A few have a large Q painted crookedly across the front door. Quarantine? Questionable? I don't know. Nobody's explained anything. Nobody's left to explain anything. By midday, the sky over Jacksonville has taken on a yellow tint. Smoke still drifts from somewhere deeper downtown, pushed west by the wind. I sit with a soaked cloth mask wrapped over my mouth, not because it helps much, but because the smell is getting worse. Burned plastic, rotting food, whatever's in the air. It all settles thick in the lungs. I keep the windows sealed and drink from my water stash in small sips. 2 gallons left, less if I keep washing the rags. A helicopter passes overhead around 1 o'clock. Not military, civilian, maybe news media or what's left of it. It hovers high above the river, banking slowly, then continues south. I watch it for a while, half hoping someone on board is looking down, counting heads, taking footage, trying to preserve a record of what's happening. But the rot down here feels far past documentation. At some point mid-afternoon, I hear someone yelling again. This time, it's a man, young, his voice bouncing off the walls between buildings. He's calling for someone, but not in panic. It's more like he's checking doors, trying to find anyone who'll answer. His footsteps draw closer, boots scuffing unevenly, voice cracking from either dehydration or fear. I listen through the shutter. Anyone inside, you don't have to be afraid. Just looking for water, not infected. Just need something. He pauses near the sidewalk. I hear him sit down, or maybe slump. His voice turns into a murmur. I'm not gonna die out here for a bottle of water, man. Eventually, his voice stops. I peek through the lowest slit in the shutter, just enough to see his legs stretched out on the pavement. His hands hang limply at his sides. He's not moving anymore, but I don't know if that means he's dead or passed out. I don't go out to check. I can't take the risk. Not now. Later in the evening, I begin to notice a pattern. The red spray-painted circles. Some have been crossed out now. Not by soldiers, by someone else. Sloppier strokes. White paint layered over red, haphazardly. One of the Q marks has been completely blacked out with some thick oil-based smear, as if someone wanted to erase it from sight entirely. I watch from the second floor as a man in a torn hoodie moves door to door, carrying a half-empty can of paint and a brush made from bundled rags. He doesn't knock. He doesn't look around. He just paints and moves on. At first, I think maybe he's part of something. Resistance, retaliation, maybe even a neighborhood trying to take control back. But when he reaches the house across the street, the one with the shattered window and the sea sprayed near the awning, he stops and stares for a long time. Then he drops the brush and walks away, not bothering to change the mark. There's something about the way he moves, the way he slinks down the sidewalk without a sound, that tells me he's not doing this for anyone but himself. Dusk comes fast today. The sky turns a sick orange, darkening at the edges with smoke and cloud. I close the blackout curtains tight and light one of the last candles. The flame flickers immediately, reacting to the low airflow in the room. I open the window just a crack to keep from choking on the fumes, listening for movement. I hear it again. Shuffling. Not walking. Not running. Something dragging across pavement slowly, like weight being shifted one leg at a time. A low growl follows. Not canine, not human, something in between. Then silence. The candle sputters once, and I lean back into the corner of the room. I count my supplies again. 10 cans of food left. 2 bottles of water. 1 flashlight. 1 crowbar. 1 knife, barely sharp. I don't know how long I'll need to make it last. I don't even know what the plan is anymore. The city is no longer fighting an outbreak. It's being divided, catalogued, sealed. Whatever's happening on the outside. Whether there's a government left, a chain of command, some clean zone they're protecting. It doesn't include me anymore. This street, this neighborhood, this entire section of Jacksonville feels written off. And yet, something keeps me inside. Not just fear, not just logic. A small sliver of belief that hiding a little longer might matter. That whatever comes next, whether good or horrific, I need to see it with my own eyes. I blow out the candle. Darkness settles like a second skin. Outside, someone screams. Not nearby, not far, just enough to echo. Day 10. I wake to the sound of flies. Not buzzing lightly, swarming. Loud, concentrated. Somewhere just outside the front of the building. The air inside is too warm, thick with the scent of sweat and old canned food. My body aches from the hard floor and the half-sleep that never really lets me drift. I push myself up slowly, trying to stay quiet even though no one's come near the building in hours. The street outside has gone dead silent again, not even the distant sirens now. Only the heat, only the flies. From the corner window, I spot the source. The young man from yesterday, the one who sat down by the shutter and never moved again, is still there. But he's not alone now. 2 others are sprawled not far from him, one face down in the gutter and another collapsed halfway into the doorway of the bakery across the street. None of them move. Their clothes are soaked through, dark and stiff. There are flies on their skin. No soldier has come back to retrieve them. No one from the buildings around has stepped outside. This part of Jacksonville is quiet now, not because people are hiding, but because there's almost no one left to hide. Later in the morning, I spot movement again. A figure far down the block, staggering slowly from one side of the street to the other. Not like the soldiers, not with purpose. It moves aimlessly, jerky, like it's lost all memory of what walking used to feel like. The limbs don't coordinate properly. The head twitches. I can't see the face, but I know what it is. Not sick, not wounded, infected. There's no urgency in it. It doesn't hunt. It doesn't scream. It just wanders, like it's waiting for something to pull it in a direction. I watch it from behind the curtains for 15 minutes as it bumps into a trash bin, drags one leg over a storm drain, then finally slips out of view behind a parked van with shattered windows. That's when I start to realize what Jacksonville has become. It's not a battleground. It's not a quarantine zone. It's a culling ground, and I'm inside it. By noon, the temperature rises enough that I'm forced to crack the windows again just to keep from overheating. The stench outside is worse now. Something in the air feels heavier, more organic. Decay, smoke, stagnant water. I try to eat, but the food tastes sour in my mouth. I drink a quarter of what's left, trying not to think about how little remains. I haven't seen a working vehicle since the military trucks 2 days ago. No one is broadcasting anymore. No messages, no emergency signals. Even the static on the dead radio is gone. In the afternoon, I see my first real crowd in days. A group of infected, maybe 6, maybe 8, drifting into view from the north, coming down the center of King Street like ghosts. Not running, not even walking in formation, just trailing behind one another, heads lolling, clothes tattered. Their skin is pale in places, darkened in others, bloated around the eyes and joints. One of them is missing part of a leg, but still shuffles forward, using the wall to balance. None of them make a sound. They stop near the intersection, swaying gently. A few stand motionless, as if listening for something. The others split off, drifting toward different buildings. One touches the hood of a long-dead car, leaving a smear behind. Another presses its face to the window of a store and just stays there, breathing fog on the glass. It's the same pattern I saw that first night, back when everything still worked, and I thought the world would send help if I just stayed put. But now I know better. No one's coming. As night falls, I sit with my back against the wall, flashlight in hand, though I don't turn it on. I don't need light now, just ears, just instinct. I hear them in the street, some dragging limbs, some bumping into the corners of buildings. Every few minutes, something glass breaks. Then quiet. I watch the sky turn black beyond the haze. One faint star barely cutting through the smoke. It flickers like a last signal from a distant place where cities still breathe and people still live. Someone once said survival is a skill, not a gift. That you make it through by choices, not by chance. Maybe that's true. Maybe staying silent behind the shutter was the right choice. Or maybe I've just postponed the end a little longer than most. Because in the silence of this hollow city, with the infected still roaming and the living long gone, I start to understand something I hadn't before. Survival isn't just about hiding from death. It's about learning to live with the dead. That's all for now. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more unsettling creepypastas. Your support keeps my channel alive. Until next time, stay quiet, stay vigilant, and trust nothing, not even the silence.